Just a quick video to capture what I did to make it possible to do a pitch bend on velocity change when hitting keys. I updated the pitch under envelopes. So pitch envelope, the curve sounds nicer, which is something you have to use custom for, where I think you can do it directly from the graph. But in essence, that's the attack curve, but doesn't really matter. That's just what I liked. But I set an attack that brings the pitch change in just a little bit slowly, and then leaves it on with the full sustain 100, the 100% sustain. All the rest of the knobs are pretty much fine. The attack is 10. That's the curve part. On the right, and the intensity is 0 for now, but that's what's going to change. The intensity is going to change. I don't think I had to do anything with the trigger source after all that. Then switching over to the mod process. There. Okay, pick that one. I went to mod proc 1, just used one of the mod procs, and I set the a gate and exponential velocity gate. I tried regular just velocity, and it seemed like it was harder to figure out what the best trigger was for that. So this one worked for me at 55% on that one. And then when it triggers, when it's above the 55 threshold, then I give the value for the gate 100, which I think is pretty much like on versus off kind of thing in this particular case. And if it's below, it's 0. You don't want to make it less than 0, because less than 0 actually turns the pitch, basically makes the pitch go down, and we don't want that. We only want a up bend. So this is for a pitch bend process. So then we go back, now that I've set that, we'll go back and look at the envelopes again, and there was one more thing that you need to look at, so the intensity. So remember, the intensity was 0, and that's what we want to change. So if I click that, it opens the tune envelope, where I say that we're going to set pitch E and V. Well, because I picked intensity, clicked intensity, that's how I got to this pitch E and V as the source with mod proc 1. So I had to select mod proc 1 under generators. There's that. And then I say I want to go up by 3 semitones when that gate is triggered. And that's pretty much it. The tricky part is knowing what's the optimal settings, especially for the trigger. Well, yeah, for the trigger, basically, when we go back and look at the mod proc, and I set it to 55, and then the value 100, which again, I'm not really sure the value means much other than it's trigger on or off in this case. But using that, this is what I end up with. If I just so fine, but now if I hit hard, okay, and each one of the keys independently can trigger. So I can do this and you get the little bend there, or I can bend this one and bend the next one. I can do multiple, but if I don't do them all consistently, at least consistently above or below the threshold, that sounds good. And it's fine, actually. I think it sounds okay, even if I don't hit it consistently, but that's sort of like, let's see if I can trigger that. There you go. Some of them bent, some of them didn't, but it's kind of like, how do I know? It's pretty hard to know. But in any case, that's so I can have, if I want to do something where I want to do a little bit of higher action, get a bend out of it. And you can do the same thing with chords, which is kind of cool too. And so the issue is, again, it's kind of really hard to figure out what the right threshold setting is I haven't found anything that's really reliable. As I think it is reliable, it's just my fingers aren't reliable knowing what velocity to hit. And I tried both, like, oh, well, maybe I need to hit it harder, but then sometimes then that makes it even harder to trigger when I want to trigger. So those are the settings I picked.